Good evening. I was watching an episode of science fiction programming, and it was reminiscent of Beauty and the Beast, a old-time fable of monstrosity, magic, and simple young women who had a panache for books and intellect. My life is not a fairy tale. It's a bit of a tragic comedy, meaning my life has so much sadness in it, but ends on a very optimistic and comical note of redemptive triumph. I'm not one to say that I believe in superstitious magic. I think language has been long studied and its power proven time and again, and an attempt to explain the power of God-given language is made explicit in so many religious texts, but most especially in the Jewish tradition. I follow medical advice. I understand it. I agree that mental illness is existent in today's society. And I believe in the power of remission and healing. I feel healed. I feel good about my recovery. My lessons that I've learned in the course of my life have been deep, profound, painful, and yet strongly triumphant. I've been diagnosed with so many mental illnesses, but these diagnoses are only words, attempts to classify me into a box of some sort. I don't necessarily believe in the categorization of human beings. We may classify things, books, titles, forms, schools, sports, stores. But we cannot categorize the human being into the limited attempts of psychiatry to define people and change their behaviors with drugs, thinking that it is in any way a righteous endeavor, trying to change human behavior with the influence of drugs is an atrocity against human free will. I am immune to medication because I've been overdosed and overly medicated for over 20 consecutive years. Not many people can say that. I am in my right and rational mind. Not because psychiatrists have cured me. And not because psychiatrists have treated me in a competent manner. But because of talk therapy. Because I never stopped confronting my own issues with full honesty and the grief of making mistakes, for making so many mistakes in my life, for admitting that I can be a cruel woman who has learned cruel behavior from a science that was supposed to have helped me. But I forgive. Because I see how simple forgiveness can be. It's simply starting over. Beginning a new book, as it were. And realizing that my home is where I hang my hat. I cannot be a stranger when I am a creative artist who loves to communicate. My problem was never schizophrenia, although I can create a story resolving the psychiatric accusations surrounding me. Instead, I had a communication disorder. When psychiatrists had found me 20 years ago in a state of agitation, my communicative skills were dismal. I didn't know how to make my needs known nor met through adequate communication. Today, I know how to linguistically solve my problems. That's all I wanted to say today. I never had a mental illness. I had a communication disorder. I was a creative young lady who was excited about love and life. And I didn't quite know how to modulate those passions when I was a young child. Today, I am in recovery from a communication disorder. I communicate today with skill because it is a learned skill. Thank you for listening to this video diary. It is June 5th, 2025, Thursday.